Yo guys, it's markostcinfo here, and in this tutorial I'm going to explain you how to make G house. Why G house? First, because I really love G house. It's like has a lot of bass, which I personally like, and also has the bouncy feeling on the drops. So yeah. Also, it's trendy right now. People like Tchami, Malaa, NuKid, and others are smashing it. So I decided after many requests to do it, and yeah. First, we are gonna go through the kit, and then later I'll be explaining step by step how I made these sounds. Let's go. So yeah, that was the break, build up, and the drop. We will start explaining from the drop, then we're gonna go to the break and build up. So the main lead here is basically the bass with a lot of low and mid end. Why I chose this bass? Because it's really typical for G house, and I personally like it. I made it in silent. These are the settings, and also it has just a simple MIDI here, a bit bouncy with these two notes up. I play for you. And for the mixing, didn't do much. Just put a kickstart for the sidechain, pop filter EQ for EQing, boosted the high end, also boosted the mid end, and lowered the highest end and the mid lows. Because I felt there were too much like high end in the bass somehow, but when I lowered it, it wasn't too strong. Then I again realized I lack a bit of height. Then I added a new EQ and volume it up. That's when I do one EQ, then I want to change some stuff, but it's kind of complicated. I just open another one. For instance, like here we have even another one. So instead of doing everything in one EQ, when I want to add something, I just open a new one, and that's a kind of a way I do EQing. And here in the last EQ, I cut the lowest end beyond 30 Hz because those are the sounds we don't use. They're just mudding the mix. So every time you have a bass in the mixer channel or on the master channel, cut the lowest end because you don't need those frequencies. They're just mudding the mix. And FLP filter for the part here. What I also did is I went in silent and automated the filter here. Let me zoom in. Here. Let me just And also sorry if it's clipping because or cutting because of my CPU. It's going crazy right now, but I'm trying my best to record this tutorial. Basically, even if you don't hear it because of CPU, you heard it in the preview, and the idea is there, so you just can mess around with it. This is the knob you want to automate. If you wonder how to automate this knob in FL Studio, just play with it. Go tools, macros, last tweaked, and create automation clip. So yeah, that was the main base. The next thing will be the web sound here and here. The sounds are from the sample loop here. Let me play for you. Nothing special. I just picked it up from a sample pack or something. And well, some people are against samples, but personally I like to use them because they give me more ideas on, and especially if those are the samples from a different style that I make, it's making me sound more unique, or in a kind of way, like if you use dubstep samples in a future bounce track like Brooks does, it gives a really nice feeling to the track. So that's a tip I picked up from him. But also I'm really using it in my own production since like a few years ago. So yeah, here we have the bass plugs and these ones. And here also. You'll get all of these in the FLP, so I'm not gonna go much about them. I just EQ them and put some reverb here on the plug. The next lead is a bit darker, which I like, so that's why I put it. It's also from the loop. Here I play it. What I did on this lead is I reverb the sides. Did basic EQing and use gross beat for sidechain because I have more control in the gross beat than in the kickstart. Here's the kick. First let me go to this bass here. I think I made it in Serum, and it basically just bass with the EQ for the part here. The thing I like about this drop is I made it somehow to start, then you get a kind of small build up here, then it starts again. So it gives that different feeling when the drop starts and makes the crowd ask, "Wait, was this kind of different?" Then you start with the drop kind of here, and it will get a much harder feeling than if you just started here because you surprise the crowd. The kick is really fat and punchy, but I kind of felt it was not punchy enough. Let me play it. CPU. Fuck. So I just boosted the mid lows and highs for the harder punch and cut the lowest ones. For the clap, I use two claps. One is normal and one is snap. Nothing special about that. And for the drums, I EQ them a bit, added the reverb and the delay. On the reverb, I reverb the size again to give that wide feeling to the track and to fill the spectrum, to make the track sound more full and to give space to other elements in the mids. And ping pong delay for the delay panning, which is also nice for the same thing. Here I have the fill by two fills filled with cashmere, and the whoop fill here. Together they sound really nice. I'm not gonna play again because my CPU right now is crazy. Here also some effects, nothing much. Here we have a ride that's automating. You can pitch it right here, put this on 12 or 6, depends on how you want, and you'll get a ride pitch sound. I also use it in my chemicals remix, so yeah, that's what I like. It keeps that part kind of interesting when you have the drop, and in the background you hear some different interesting stuff going on. Also, people like Kirby do that a lot, or Oliver Heldens, so I really recommend you guys to try it out. Here we have an ambient sound made from reverb of the vocal. Yeah, you will get it in the FLP, and we're gonna play it right now. Also the vocal. And the main vocal for the build-up, it had a not really good quality, so I had to just EQ the shit out of it, and then it was fine. Down low. I'm gonna play it fully. And now we're gonna move to the breakdown. Breakdown is also really simple. The only thing I added was the drums. What I like about the drums is they're really like bouncy, which is good for a G house track. And I did some simple EQing, and I put transient master for the more punch and tightness. And also recommend this plugin. It's from Native Instruments, and yeah, you guys should check it out. I use it for the drums mostly. Here we have a vocal reverse. The way to do it is simple. You just render the vocal with reverb. Yeah, just a moment. And you reverse it. I did the same for the WAP here. And yeah, also what I like is to filter the transition between a break and a build-up. So here you have filters that are muting the vocal and the drums, which is giving it better transition overall. That's how I do it, and you guys, if you like it, you can do it too. Whatever you guys find interesting, you can put it in the track. Also here we have now on the build-up, we have the snare fill, but using kind of trap samples, which is really common in G house now, instead of normal fill. We also put this one, so it's kind of making the fill sound fuller and more interesting. Here we have some up filters and the impacts and risers and stuff like that. And in the end, we have here the Endless Smile plugin from Dada Life, which is making everything sound more reverb and like more delay to prepare people for the drop, and that's what this plugin was made for. You can check it out on the internet. I'm not gonna talk too much about this plugin. It's just really great for build-ups, and I recommend you guys to use it. Here we have some filters, nothing much, and also what I like to do is to volume the breakdown a bit lower than the drop, then going lower until the drop hits, then I go back to 0 dB here. What it's making is making the drop sound louder than the parts here, but not significantly, just for a few dB. It's making different mostly on the low end of the drop, because then you hear the bass harder and stuff like that, and especially in the clubs or festivals, it's gonna rock the crowd harder than if you just put everything on 0 dB. And yeah, that was basically that for the tutorial. The last thing I will do is explain mastering. I mostly mix my stuff on the -6 dB, then I volume it up with a limiter, but this time I just volume it up to 0 dB and did the compression slightly. Use Vintage Warmer to compress the low sound because I felt there was too much of it. Lows and the highs here in the sec Q, and the limiter to limit the because the strong sleeping, it limits the sound. Nothing goes over 0 dB. And I volume it up a bit. It gets more fulfilled for the full track. You guys can experiment. I really like this filter. Yeah, really, I have really nice. If you don't have a filter bundle, you should definitely go and check it. So yeah, guys, it was a quick tutorial. Nothing much to talk about here. I made it like in 5 or 6 hours, something like that, and I'm gonna to put free FLP with presets, themes, and other stuff online. The link will be in the description, so you guys can use it for free, but only for learning purpose. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to keep following me, press the subscribe button, because I'm gonna do more tutorials and templates. If you have any idea of what would you like guys to hear from me, just leave a comment and drop a like on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram, because I do a lot of stories, live streams, and I post a lot of tips for producers. So yeah, it was nice doing this tutorial for you guys, and until the next one, see ya.